Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where I am going to be chatting about the fact that I've been in the US for a year, how it is right now, how am I feeling, homesick, are we staying here forever? I'm going to be applying some new makeup as well because I have some new things to be using, so it's just going to be trying out new makeup, chatting about my year here in the US and letting you know about some tea for the future. And if you haven't been before, if this is your first video here, hello, my name is Angie. I am such a lover of beauty makeup. I love everything beauty makeup related, and I do upload quite a lot of videos. I would love to see you subscribe because there's probably a video tomorrow as well. I'm also extra excited because this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Thank you so much, HelloFresh, for coming back and sponsoring another video on my channel. If this is not your first rodeo here, you know I am such a big fan of HelloFresh, and I have been a HelloFresh customer for quite some years. I actually started with HelloFresh in January of 2020 when me and my husband were like, we have just been eating way too much takeout, way too many like lazy meals. We wanted to get into the routine of cooking again. And for me, the big problem, quote unquote, is not the whole cooking the groceries, it is the whole buying and planning the meals. And with HelloFresh, all you need to do is to go into the website or go into the app, and they will show you so many recipes, over 30 different recipes each week, where you get to pick out the ones that you want to cook. They have pescatarian, vegetarian, they have meals with low calories, which might be great now in holiday times. They also have my favorite, which is the very quick meals. They have like 20-minute meals that gives you food on the table in 20 minutes, which is something that I really appreciate because, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of standing in the kitchen for a really long time. And what I also love is that you will get your ingredients in a box sent to your door, pre-measured. And for me, not only does this save time and make it really convenient, it also means that I throw away less food because the amount that I'm having is the amount that I'm using. Me and my husband do not have any kids, but we still do the box for 4 people so that we are able to get some leftovers for lunch, because the HelloFresh recipes, not only are they incredibly tasty, this is restaurant quality meals, but they're also really good the day after, so we like having it for lunch the day after as well, saving some time, saving some money. Honestly, it's been so great for us. It really works into our lifestyle. I also will let you know that the dish that we cooked in the footage that you're seeing, the lemon and Brussels sprouts pasta, one of my absolute favorites. When you see this, you need to get it. It is so incredibly tasty. I also really love the flexibility with HelloFresh. You want to change your delivery date, you want to change your addresses, you want to change how many meals you're having, you want to skip a week. That's totally possible as well, and that could be really good, especially during holiday times where you might be traveling or having extra guests or anything like that. So go to HelloFresh.com and use the code Angelica21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com and use the code Angelica21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. And if nothing else, click the link down below and just check out their menu. They have so many great dishes and have found so many favorites throughout the years. So thank you again, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video. And now let's get into the get ready with me and about me talking about how this year has been. So I have a couple of new products that I want to be trying. I bought this new Power Grip Primer with niacinamide. My dog is very cuddly right now. If you hear her in the background, she's the dog that just will not quit. I'm guessing that this is going to be exactly like the normal Power Grip Primer. Honey, are we cuddling? We're absolutely not doing our makeup, are we? Mama loves you. But yeah, I'm guessing this is going to be exactly like the normal Power Grip, but just have some nice and... Can you see the snout coming up? This is going to be a video and a half. Well, that is one of the differences that has come to our lives since we moved to the US. We adopted a dog. This is a rescue dog. She was abandoned in our neighborhood and the shelters were full. So she got to live with us because she gets along with our other pets really well. Me and my husband, we really wanted to rescue a dog. I'm gonna be honest. It was not our plan to rescue a dog at the very moment when we did. But sometimes stuff happens. And now you're here. Yes, and we're very happy you're here. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna see if she wants to go into her bed because this is ridiculous. I'm gonna be trying this new True Match Super Blendable Foundation. I have it in W4, which is a warm light medium. I don't know if I got the right shade, but I mean, warm light medium does sound like me, so we are gonna see. I swear Kaisa does not want to leave me alone today. This is where my foundation went. I never spill on my clothes, but this was very close today. That might be one of the best foundation matches I've ever had in my life. Oh my god. Is that the best foundation match I've ever had in my life? So me and my husband have been here for a year now. We moved here from Sweden. I know that people's reaction when we said that we were gonna move from Sweden to Texas was literally like, why? And I totally get it, because listen, Texas was not on my bingo card either. When my husband and I started dating, he literally told me, listen, I'm gonna do my postdoc, because that is what it's doing. I'm gonna do my postdoc abroad. And that's just the way it is, with or without you. Basically, that is what it said, with or without you. And I said, please with. And that is also why, like, the main reason why I quit my like job. I had a normal 9-to-5 job, because I knew we had to move. We were supposed to move in 2020, but there was a lot of things that were supposed to happen in 2020, so everything got postponed, and we moved at the end of 2021 instead. And that is also, like, I quit my job because, like, we were preparing to move, and then we didn't, but eventually we did. So now we've been in the US for 1 year, and we are gonna be here for a couple of more years, and I've gotten a lot of questions of people asking, like, are you gonna stay forever? Like, are you staying here now? And no, we're not. I mean, I don't mind the US. I think a lot of people thought that we were gonna be a little bit more, a little bit more stranded or a little bit more confused than we were. But, like, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. I've been to the US quite some times. I don't think that we were that confused about the differences. There was some things, of course, that we were like, oh, I did not expect it to be this expensive. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not expect the US to be this expensive. I mean, last time we were in the US before we went here, we went to San Francisco, because I'm gonna be honest with you, there was a time when we were thinking about moving there, and San Francisco was extremely expensive. But, like, everyone knows that San Francisco is extremely expensive. Like, that is not news to anyone. Like, everyone knew that. But I will say that the thing that made me a little bit surprised is that when we came here, it was expensive here too. And I don't think I was expecting that. I don't think I was expecting bread in the grocery store to be like $5-6. And I'm talking like bread that's actually been like made in the store. I'm not talking about like the factory bread that has like ingredients in it that's not even legal in my home country. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not eating that. I'm sorry, I'm not eating that. And I mean, it's not that bread is like affordable in Sweden either, but it's not $6. And I think that that's the part that made me surprised. Going to a restaurant in the US is so much more expensive than going to a restaurant in Sweden. And then you have to tip on top of that as well. And in Sweden, tipping, of course, if you go to a restaurant, I think most people tip, but maybe not to the extent that like you're expected to tip here. Yeah, like you're expected to tip even if you don't think there's anything worth tipping for. In Sweden, you tip if someone is going above and beyond to make your experience amazing, and you will never tip someone at a nail salon or at a hairdresser. Here, you tip everyone all the time. And I don't mean this to sound harsh, but you tip everyone all the time for doing their job. And even though they're really good at their job, I mean, technically you should be paying their salary just by being there, getting your hair cut, or like eating a meal, technically. And I don't know exactly why that isn't so, because it's more expensive to eat in a restaurant here, and still staff is getting less paid and corporate tax is lower. So where's the money going? I'm guessing that the owners are keeping the money, and instead of And instead of giving their staff a living wager, they're like probably earning more money than a restaurant owner would in Sweden. I honestly, I don't know. Maybe that's not the case either, but like, I mean, I'm paying corporate tax now in the US, and I can let you know that corporate tax is so much lower here than in Sweden. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm gonna use this. I haven't used these yet, the ones from Kaleidos. This is the Symphony Face Illuminator in medium. I don't know if this, it says illuminator. Does this have shimmer in it, or is this matte? That looks great. That looks, I don't care what this is supposed to be. That looks great. So yeah, some things confuse me, and I think that like just being here a year will not be enough for me to understand it. And this is not me bashing it. This is just me saying that there are certain parts that I haven't figured out yet. Like, I haven't figured out why some things are more expensive and when some things are less expensive. Like, buying a house here is much less expensive than buying a house in Sweden, for example. Even like the really nice houses, it's much less expensive here than buying a house in Sweden. So when people say like, oh, the bubble's gonna burst on the, I'm gonna use this one as well. This is also the medium one. When people say like the bubble's gonna burst on the, what do you call it? Like the housing market because it's getting too expensive. I'm like, it's not even up to the prices that you're paying for houses in Europe. So I'm like, I don't know how much it's gonna like lower down. Maybe in some parts, like really expensive parts that like has had a lot of, that has had a lot of increase, like San Francisco that I talked about. There's now space to be like more expensive than it is. But in places like Austin, for example, that used to be affordable and now it's kind of catching up. I don't know if the prices are gonna go down that much. I am using the one that's a little bit more neutral tone, but I don't like contouring my forehead because I don't really have a forehead. I don't really have a forehead, so I try to not contour it, but I like contouring a little bit here because this part is kind of wide on me. Make sure that when you're contouring, that you're actually contouring in a way that makes sense for your face shape, so that you are accentuating what you want to accentuate and that you are hiding what you want to hide, and not like the opposite. And again, this isn't me saying that anything is better or that like things don't make sense. It's more for me saying that I've only been here for a year. It makes sense that there are a bunch of things that I just don't understand, and that is totally fine. I'm hoping with time I'll understand even more things. Am I gonna buy property here? Probably not, because we're only staying, like I said, for a bit, and if we buy something, it would be something that I think that we would be able to sell. Because we would only buy it to live there for a little bit. But I will say it's one of my dream goals of life to own property. Like, to not like, I don't want to be like a person that owns property that I don't live in. That's not my goal. That's not the person I want to be. I want to be the person that owns my own home. And so far, well, I'm not, because I've been moving around. Okay, I feel like I'm looking very gray, so I am gonna bring in like some warmth. I think that those face duos, trios, they're probably gonna be more of a contour thing for me. I don't like having a cool tone face because it's making like me not match my chest. I'm looking a little cool toned. I'm actually gonna do my brows. I bought a new brow pencil. I bought the House Labs brow pencil and I bought it in Auburn. I wanted to buy like a pomade or a powder, but I was stressed. I was at Sephora, so I just bought one that I could find, and I already know that I really like the House Labs formula, even though I go through brow pencils a little quick. But yeah, I'm gonna be using this while I'm on the hunt for a good light copper powder or pomade, I think. I'm trying to experiment with making warmer brows. I don't think I've nailed it yet, but we'll get there. I'm gonna be using this one for the first time. This is the Duo Dimension Zone. This is the Duo Dimension in Zone, maybe. Is that what it's called? It is the peachy orangey one. So pretty. So hopefully this one will bring a little bit more of the warmth back to my face, because I do feel, at least in real life, I look a little ashy in some places. But we'll make it work. Hopefully. I think I'm gonna use this one, the Nabla brush. So let's see if we can make this work. Another thing that, like, there are small things that I miss with Sweden, like I miss snacks, but I love American snacks. Overall, I am really enjoying just trying different kinds of foods and different kinds of snacks, and I do really enjoy that, and I do think it's fun. And since we are not staying forever, I'm just trying to make the best of the situation. One of the things that I am enjoying that I didn't think was gonna be like a thing that I was gonna enjoy is actually like getting alcohol in the grocery store. I am not a big alcohol drinker. I don't go out and party. I don't like have shots or drinks and stuff like that. But I do love, oh, I've got something in my eye. I do love the taste of alcohol, which I realize in of itself, it's a little bit unusual because I don't think a lot of people will say they don't drink alcohol because they don't like the taste of it. And I drink alcohol because I do like the taste of it. I like the taste of wine. I like the taste of beer. I think I'm going to be using this Pretty Police palette, but I don't like being drunk. And I will say some of the things that I've really been enjoying is that it is a little low key to just buy some alcohol in the store. And a lot of options are also kind of low on alcohol, which I like because, again, I don't like being drunk. I don't like drinking a lot, but I like the taste of it. So there's a lot of beer options that have less amount of alcohol in them and are like easy to like access when I'm in the store to just pick up and have like a beer every other day. That's the person that I am. I will say when it comes to wines, my favorite wine country in the world is France. I love French wine, and French wine, overall, every kind of, what would I call them? Oh, I got way too much primer on. Overall, everything that's imported to the US is really expensive, especially like me and Ricardo. We love a lot of European ingredients when it comes to food, and when it comes to like cheese, it's so expensive with cheese and to get the kind of cheese that we are used to. And I don't think that we really like realize that, because I don't love a lot of American cheeses myself. Not that I think it's bad, but it's more like what you're used to, and I'm used to a certain kind of cheese, and you're used to a certain kind of cheese. I love cheese, you love cheese, we all love cheese, and it just becomes very expensive. This is what the palette looks like. I'll pop up some swatches so you can see what it looks like. It just becomes very expensive when the kind of cheese that you're used to paying $1 for in Sweden all of a sudden is $5, or just halloumi all of a sudden it's like $5-6, and it just becomes expensive. So we've had to change our food like habits, and I mean that's also a really good for us reason. Not this part is like sponsored, but like with HelloFresh and everything, because they have been able to show us so many food combinations and so many ingredients that we weren't aware of coming in with a European perspective. And I've really been enjoying that, because all of a sudden, like, our quick and easy meal that we used to do that was maybe, I don't know, $8 for like 4 portions in Sweden, all of a sudden here would be like $25. And we're like, whoop! This is no longer an affordable meal. It's still quick and easy, but, well, it's not quick and easy because we have to go to a specific store here to get the actual ingredients that we want. And I also realized that I have a totally different understanding of the whole wanting to shop things that you're used to, because I think sometimes when you live in a country that has a lot of stores that are like Middle Eastern food or Asian food or any other kind of specialty food store, you don't fully realize exactly how it feels to a person that's probably moving to that country for the first time, being able to see groceries that they're used to when you yourself is in the situation and you're like, where is this things that I'm used to seeing? And it is interesting to like experience a food culture and to be like trying new things, but there's also something really comforting about finding stuff that you're used to. Because I will say we all have bad days when we just want to have a nice snack and sit by the couch and watch Netflix and enjoy ourselves. And it is really comforting when you can have some of your comfort food during those days. And I will say, finding new comfort foods has been a struggle that I didn't think I was gonna have. And it's like an insignificant struggle in the grand plot of it, but if you have been here before, especially if you have been listening to me talk about my mental health struggles on my vlog channel, I have a vlog channel, it's linked down below. Some days I really just need to be comforted by something that I know and recognize. And it is a journey to find out what that is in a new country. But all in all, the thing that I miss the most, the thing that like outweighs everything else by a landslide, is that I miss being able to walk places. I cannot believe, like, I knew this. I knew this coming in, like coming to the US. I knew that like this is a country where people take the car everywhere. Not in every city. And this is actually one of the reasons why we were contemplating if we were gonna move to New York first. Because New York is a city that more resembles how European cities are, where you can walk everywhere or take public transportations if you want to. And that is what I'm used to. I didn't get a driver's license until I was like 29, because like I didn't need one. I didn't even live in like a big city in Sweden, and I didn't need a driver's license. And I've never been smitten by the car culture or by the whole idea of having a car. I don't want to be tied to having to have a car. And I will say that that has brought me quite some stress. I will say it's quite some stress during this year, because sometimes I'm just like, I just want to go out, go somewhere and not get in a car. But where we live, that just simply is not possible. I just can't. I really can't. And I will say it has been a kind of a abrupt awakening to realize that something that you really love doing, because I love walking. This like city that we are living in, it just isn't made for pedestrians, not even a little bit. Sometimes they're a little bit of an afterthought, but overall, it's not meant for you to be out of your car, except if you're going from your parking lot to this space. And I miss walking. I really do. I would love to hear your perspective on this, because I feel like for me, and this is the main reason why I don't think that no, this is not. Okay, the main reason why I know for a fact that I will not be living in the US forever is that a lot of things, and I don't want to be like in politics or talking about politics or stuff like that on my channel, but a lot of things in politics and policy in the US is just so far away from how my values and what I value as a human being, that I think that I would be in a better headspace mentally just living somewhere else. And since I have the opportunity, and I realize that that is a privilege, I have the opportunity to choose to live somewhere else, I am fairly sure that I will. I feel like this hood here is just collapsing more and more every day, and I just spend so much time blending here, but and you see, I have a little dip in here, and it like, doesn't matter how much I blend there, because like, that's a shadow, unless I want to like put actual black there. Which, I mean, I could. Okay, I kind of want to put, like, I love this one. Do you see this almost like pastel white baby pink? I really love that, and I think I'm gonna put that in my inner corners, but I kind of want to play with this one as well. It's the LH Cosmetics Basic Elements Quad. I kind of want to play with this one just a little bit out here, and then the other one, just for some sparkle, and I am so intrigued by this one. Let's swatch this one. This is the silver. They had a little bit of a, oh, you had to go through the surface, but it was not that hard. Oh yeah, that like gunmetal with the midnight blue sheen, and then this one is the copper one. Ooh, that's actually a really interesting copper. It would go very well with my hair. I might try that one day. I love that I'm now matching to my hair and not even my eyes. But I don't think that this will be perfect here, but I think that this one, together with that pastel pink, and then it is the gold and the silver. I will link everything that I'm using down below in case you're like, what was that shade? What was that thing? I don't understand what she was talking about. It's gonna be in the description box. And I think I'm just gonna put that out here. Got a little fallout. Ooh, that is so pretty. It is like a blackened midnight blue metallic with blue shimmer in it. I do really like that. Let me finish this up and we can talk about like the last points. I want to use some of this because I got sent this collection by ColourPop. This is the Color Sticks in Satin Ribbon. And this one seems to be like a pink iridescent. And I kind of just want to see how this one looks on. Because I want to see if they improved the formula a little bit. Because I know I didn't love the formula before. I mean, it's still kind of mediocre. It's to the point where you're like, I'm not sure why this formula exists. Because, like, is this really bringing anything to the table? I don't know if I think that. I don't know if I think that. So where would I like to? I'm using that pearly on top. It's like a, like I said, an almost white baby pink with some shimmer in it, but it is a matte. Yeah, that is what I want. I want full on contrast. So what would I like to live? I love the Mediterranean and I love Europe. I really do. I really see myself moving back to Europe. I think a lot of people thought that me and Ricardo were going to be too warm in Texas, that we weren't going to enjoy the heat, but I will say we love the heat and I can definitely see myself moving somewhere warm afterwards as well. I wouldn't mind moving back to Sweden either. I like Sweden and I wouldn't mind moving back to Sweden either, but I will say I am really... What is the point of these crayons? What is the point of these crayons? I want to live somewhere warm and Sweden is kind of cold and I love the heat. I thrive in the heat. I don't feel like it was too warm during the summer in Texas. And I think some people will be surprised by me saying that. So I could totally see myself moving somewhere warm. And there isn't somewhere warm in Sweden. It really isn't. But I will say, I love Sweden. I think Sweden is a great country. But I think Sweden, as a lot of countries, has its ups and downs. No country is perfect. And I like the US too. I just don't see myself living here for forever. Like, I don't want to be afraid that if I get super sick or if something happens, it's gonna be like, oh, am I gonna be able to afford this? I don't want that like worry to hang over me as a cloud, because I never worried about any of that before in Sweden, and I would like to get back to not worrying about that as well in the future. I was so close to putting on this ColourPop Fresh Kiss because I thought that this was something else. But this is the ColourPop Fresh Kiss Lip Creme and I was like, nope. Let's put that back in the box. I didn't even open it because I hate that formula. We're not doing that. So I'm going to do the Sigma Lip Oil instead. Really dislike the lip cremes. They have different like Fresh Kiss, but the lip cremes, they are smeary, silicone-y. They travel all over the face. We're not doing that. Not doing that. I actually, and this is where me and my husband don't agree. Not to the point where like we fight about it, but it's like, where do we want to live? And my husband is in academia, so he cannot be too far from like, you know, academia centers such as like, you know, universities. And I would love to move out in the middle of nowhere and just, you know, own a house with close to no neighbors and just walk around nature with 5 dogs. This is where I could see myself. And Ricardo's like, can I commute to work though? And in my ideal like living situation, no. But I understand that like for him, he has to live somewhat close to a city to be able to work. And I would like to live in like, you know, a mountain village in Italy, an island in Greece, the countryside in like, I don't know, Bordeaux. Like I don't want to live close to people, and I just want to live somewhere where there's like not that much cars and like close to nature, you know, getting in touch with my inner nature child. I don't have that right now, and I would love to have that, but there is a big chance / risk that I will not be able to have that until my husband is done with like academia, which might be retirement, let's be honest. So, and also like I realized that if I move to a place like that, I either have to move somewhere that's literally like the village in Beauty and the Beast by Disney, or be very like dependent on the car. So that's also like something that I don't know. Maybe I want to get a moped and just with one of those where I can put my groceries on front and just, I don't know, be barefoot and like this. I realize that what I want is not it's not possible. Like I am very much aware of that. I'm gonna put on some falsies. I'm gonna, I don't know, let out my hair, and I think that's gonna be the finished thing. Did I really do pink makeup with my new copper hair? I did. Thank you very much. I'm really feeling this look. I think this turned out really cute. And even though it is like a pink with an orange, I did request like a softer copper to be able to get away with all of those colors that you know that I love to wear. So I think that this turned out really cute. Like I said, I will link everything down below. And I don't want this video to come off like, I cannot wait to get out of here, because I definitely do not. I am a live in the moment kind of a gal, and I will say that in 2020, I promised myself I am a yes girl now. Everything you throw at me, listen, don't threaten me with a good time. You invite me, I'm coming. So I have been invited to so many more things when I moved to the US. People are just so much more social and friendly and chatty here. Not that Swedes are unfriendly, but it's more, I like this more social arena aspect, and I will miss that if I move to a country that doesn't have that. Because it's been truly lovely to get to know people here. Oh, did you miss me? Okay. It's been truly lovely to get to know people here, and how quickly I have gotten to know my neighbors here. I didn't know, I've never, sweetie, yes, I know that the lip oil smells very tasty. I've never gotten to know any of my neighbors anywhere I've ever lived in my life. And here, we actually hang out. And it is so, I'm almost tearing up when I'm thinking about it, but it's so lovely because I've been so lonely for bigger parts of my life, and I will say that that does worry me a bit, and I really hope that we don't move to a place where people are keeping to themselves as much as they do in Sweden, because I really do love that aspect. I really do love that aspect, because I'm filming this just before Christmas, and I'm going to my friend for Christmas. I'm spending time with my friend for Christmas. Me and my husband are going, and we're bringing the doggos. Yes, you don't know that you're going yet, but you are, and that's gonna be so lovely, and it's just very different for it to be this inviting, and I'm trying to adapt the best that I can to it. But if you are a neighbor and you're watching this, just know that I appreciate you so much. And I hope that I'm not in any way coming off different, but I'm not used to it. But I love it. I really do. Baby. I think this doggo wants to go for a walk. Or do you just want to lay down and cuddle? Is that it? With the waggy tail? Okay. Well, I'm gonna head out. We are staying in the US for a couple of more years. If you have any questions, let me know, because like maybe we can do a Q&A or something. Maybe we can, maybe I can answer some questions. Let me know down below. Thank you again, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video. I am, per usual, a big HelloFresh fan, and I will see you again maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow for a new video. Bye!